Hey folks, welcome to our next exit. We put out a couple of videos 2 or 3 weeks ago on about 10 different questions that seem like would be important to you guys that are thinking about this full-time RV lifestyle. So it's been a couple of weeks now, and we thought we'd close the poll and kind of do a little analysis and see where, at least the viewers of this channel, where you're coming from. We had the first poll. We did 5 questions, and then I decided to add a few more questions to it. So 2 or 3 days later, we did a second poll with 5 more questions. So there's 10 questions altogether, but the first poll had like 320 responses, and the second poll had 260 or so responses. So it's a little bit different. So some of the totals don't add up, but come out with some pretty good information, I think. So here's the 10 questions, and I did a little page on each one. So let's kind of get into it and see what your responses were. The number one thing is, it seems like on our channel it's like 70% of the viewers are between 55 and 65, and so it's no surprise that of the respondents, 144 of them said they were going to retire at between 60 and 65, which is a pretty good age. That's 45%, almost half of our viewers. So congratulations to you guys. That's a nice retirement age. And of these folks, we did a kind of an income range, and this is your full-time RV lifestyle budget. And as you can see, 125, which is almost 40%, which is ballpark. We're kind of on the high end of that, but that's about where we're running. So that seems to be a pretty realistic goal. If looking at the combining it right down the middle here, the ones that are going to make $40,000 and less, there's 170 respondents that plan on making under $40,000, which is 54%, and there's 148 that's going to make over $40,000, and that's 46%. So it's pretty close to even. About half of us are making over 40, and about half of us are making under 40 as a couple. But here's the interesting thing, and the thing, we would have retired in that 62, 63 bracket. That's where my brother retired, and my sister quit work even a little before that. A lot of my family, my dad quit at 55, I think, retired earlier. But we kept working because we were concerned about when one of us passes away. We had plenty of money, Pearl and I together, to retire, but when one of us passed away, we would lose $20,000 would be Pearl's Social Security, and whichever one of us was left would go on my Social Security. And so we wanted to pump that up as high as we could. Speaking of which, I'm 4 months away from filing. I'm filing spousal benefits on Pearl. In 4 months, I turn 70 in January, and I'll get to file my own Social Security. So that'll be a nice pop-up for us. But for spouse, and I did this, maybe I did this wrong, I put 5 brackets in here for the spouse, because I figured a lot of the spouses, whichever one it was, if one of you's gone away, then definitely income's going to go down. So I put 5. I wish I would have kept it at 4. But and there's a problem here with this over 50. As you can see, the couples, only 56 people said that they were going to have over $50,000. And the number of people, 318 folks answered that question, and only 56 of them said they'd make over $50,000. Their surviving spouse is one of the second questions, and it had less respondents. No, it was one of the first questions. It had 293 respondents, but it jumped up to 77 are going to make over $50,000. And I think maybe I didn't explain the question correctly, and there's some mistakes in there, because only 56 of the couples are over 50,000, but 77 of their surviving spouses. So that's, something's wrong with probably how I worded the question. So I think we almost got to take that out, but leaving everything. So the surviving spouse, you can see, as a couple there were only 56 that made over 50. But as a single person, 77. So I obviously didn't word the question right. That I don't see how that could happen. If there's a way, if you're one of those people and there's a way that can happen, let me know. But I would think you would have to be losing income, unless maybe an insurance policy. But here, if you look at the 40 to 50s, as a couple there's 92, but when one of them passes away, only 41 people are making 41 to 50. Here, as a couple, 125 are making 30 to 40, but when one of them passes away, only 62 are making 30 to 40. And where did those people fall to? You know, these remaining and this remaining, right over here. 45 made under 30,000, but that jumped up 113 of these people that's making 30 to 40 or 40 to 50 dropped into this under 30. And that's the point that I wanted to make sure that whichever Pearl or I, we wanted to make sure we were making enough, and we're hoping to keep it up at that 40, that 30 to 40 range, or even better. Really, Social Security, I'm going to have 40,000, so when one of us passes away, we'll have at least 40, their surviving spouse, and then our savings. So that's why we waited till we were 66 to retire. So we did a video on Social Security benefits. I'll put a link up here. If that's something that you think you could maybe hold off, use your savings and hold off on filing Social Security and let it grow. It grows at 8% a year from 60 full retirement age until age 70. It grows at 8% a year. And all that money, Social Security money, has a cost of living adjustment every year, which your savings wouldn't have. And then from your full retirement, if you take it earlier, like at 62, that's where most of our people are going to take it at 62, 159, compared to 120 at full retirement age and only 30 people at 70 years old. You take like a 25% cut by taking it at 62 compared to 65. Here's just an example from the Social Security website. Here's a person at full retirement age that gets $1,300 in Social Security. If they wait until they're 70, they'll go up to $1,681. But if they take it early, that $1,300 will drop below $1,000 to $950, and that's for the rest of your life. So if one of you passes away, that surviving spouse, that extra $400 or whatever it is a month would probably be much appreciated when they're 80 or 85 and they've got their medical expenses and everything going on all by themselves. So anyway, that's enough of that. Just my thoughts. That's how we figured it out. Health insurance, a lot of comments I got was people was saying they're set up to retire early, but their health insurance is a big, their biggest expense, as much as their home costs. Well, anyway, a big expense. Some of them said over $1,000 it was. So 156 people are paying between $100 and $499. I would think that's like right where we're at, $500 for the two of us. So for one of us it'd be $250. I got to think a lot of this is retired military, retired government workers and stuff that have their insurance, maybe teachers and that kind of stuff. Because that's a great price. That's the people that responded to that was cost for health insurance, 282 people. So half of them are paying under $500. That's pretty good. And there was, I'll put a note down in here. There was two people that talked about these health insurance that are done through usually through a religious organization that pool pay so much, and it's in the few $100s a month, and then it's a pretty high deductible, but then supposedly it works pretty good for catastrophic illnesses and stuff like that. So I'll put that link down here. One person left a link to the one he's doing, if y'all want to check out. The next question, the main reason you want a full-time RV. For us, it started out, we had a big house in Las Vegas, and we didn't want to live there. It was far away from the kids, and we just didn't want to live in Las Vegas with the crime and everything. So we wanted to travel around Arizona and Las Vegas and up in the Pacific Northwest to see where we might want to move to. But we real soon learned that we were enjoying the lifestyle so much we quit looking for homes because we was afraid we'd find one. We wanted to see America. And that's the reason I put this in here. And that apparently is what a lot of people, to see this great country of ours, 162, more than half of you, the closest one was just enjoying the RV lifestyle. So that's a real good thing. The people are doing this because they want to. Economics is not a big deal. Seeing the national parks, not a big deal. I think that's going to be on most people's list, but they enjoy the lifestyle and seeing our country. That's great. The next question we ask, how long do you think you're going to RV? We thought 2 years we would full-time RV, but we're already stretching it into 3. Like I said, we're 70 years old, so we know how our health will catch up with us pretty soon. I don't know how long we can do this, and plus we're spending $3,500 a year in storing our furniture. That just chews at me every month, thinking that we'd do it for 2 years and then we'd want our stuff and move back into a house. I could see us going 3 to 5 years pretty easy, but the biggest answer was we were going to do it till we can't do it any longer. That's what most people, they like the lifestyle, they want to see the country, and I think it's affordable, fits in there a little bit, but I know Terry and Cindy Goss down in South Texas, Terry and Cindy both said they would never own another sticks and bricks type house. When and if they get to get back on the road, they RV full time now. They're managing a Encore Park down there, the nicest one down there in the Rio Grande Valley, and they've got I think it's an Integra, nice 45-foot motorhome. So they're talking from experience. They're going to stay in that RV, and then when they're done, they're going to move into one of these RV retirement communities and either stay in their RV or buy one of the park models. They're in the RV park, is my understanding, and that's I think a pretty popular option. And those people seem to. We stayed down there all winter, and those people seem to enjoy that lifestyle. So a lot of you folks apparently are thinking that same thing. Best length for your RV is pretty even, but that 35 to 39 is the most popular answer, and that seemed to be a pretty good answer. It lets you get into a lot of places. We've got a 42-foot Class A motorhome, and for us it's perfect. We feel like we're in a little house. We don't feel cramped in any way, and every time we pop out those opposing slides, it amazes me, like, wow, there's so much room here. It's any more room than this would just be too much room. The next choice was less than 30 foot and then more than 40, less than 30 foot, yeah, and then more than 40, and then 30 to 34. So 35 to 39, I would think that's probably a pretty good answer. And this one here was for full-timers and part-timers, just to tell us how much time do you RV a year. So all these people here, I'm guessing, own a home. They're not full-timing, and they're spending like less than a month, 20 people a year. 32 to 99 days a year is 26. 100 to 200 days is 33. And that you still have a home, but your RV, that's a lot of people fall into that. You retire, you want to keep your home, it's paid for maybe, and then you go out in an RV, and they're out over 200 days a year. I would say that's a sweet spot right there. But to most people, 130 out of the 300 or so respondents, full-time, RV full-time. That's what we do. And then I wondered, what are you going to do after you leave the road? Where are you going to buy a house and stay in your RV? So purchase your home with cash, savings, no mortgage. 129 people. Let's see how many. Right here we had 315 people respond to that. So not quite half, but a good chunk. Sold their home, put the equity in savings account. That's what we did, and hopefully we got enough money to pay cash for our next home. Depends on what we can find and where we settle up, but hopefully we can do that. Live in RV until the end, 55 people. That's where Terry and Cindy, that's kind of what they're talking about. And then something different, live with your kids, or I don't know what all would be in there. Rent versus buy a home is 47, and then 30 people are going to buy a home but they'll need to get a mortgage with it. And that may be hard. You can count your Social Security for income to get a mortgage, but getting a mortgage, I would think you'd have to have a pretty good down payment. So that pretty much covers the poll. I hope you gained a little information from all of it. It was pretty enlightening to me. I think we fit right in the middle with, except we're older. We fit right in the middle except we're 10 years older. And but we enjoyed it. Thanks everybody for responding. If you enjoyed it and you want us to do another poll and you got some questions, don't hesitate to give us some ideas. I think people enjoy doing the polls and don't mind sharing the information. So if you got some good ideas what we might take a poll on, let us know. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. If you hadn't subscribed to our channel, we're all about retirement, sharing stuff as we learn it, sharing it with you guys. And we had a lot of questions. We still have a lot of questions. We learn from you guys all the time. We learn from the people we meet out on the road, and then we just enjoy sharing it. And that's what we're about. So subscribe, leave your comments. If you got questions, we'd love to answer them if we can. Stay safe, keep the wheels rolling. We'll see you at our next exit. Bye-bye.